welcome to episode 51 of the YarnderWoman podcast. My name is Melinda. You can find me as YarnderWoman on Instagram and Ravelry. We've also got a Ravelry group for the podcast. Just search in the groups tab under YarnderWoman podcast. And today is Friday, the 19th of August 2016, coming to you as always from Perth in Western Australia. It's not an early start for me today, but I'm very excited to be talking to you and I have lots of knitting to show you. I know the last couple of episodes have been a bit bereft of actual knitting because episode 49 was my Bendigo recap, episode 50 was pretty much a stash haul episode. So today we're back a little bit more to normal. Not that I'm suggesting those other two episodes weren't fun. I think they were. Most people have said they very much enjoyed them. But today we're easing back with a few more projects, and fear not, there is still quite a few acquisitions because I am such a lucky lady. So without further ado, let's dive in and broach the subject. So today's Foxalicious brooch is from Shara Lambeth Designs, and this is Shara from the What Shara Made podcast. So you actually saw this brooch last week in my acquisitions because Shara so generously gave it to me when we met in person, which was just lovely. And it's so cute. I love foxes, as you know, and that white is so stark and just looks fantastic against the black, and I've got red on as well. So I'm channeling the White Stripes band for their black, red and white colour scheme for a change. I'm also finding I'm reaching a lot for white and silver jewellery this week because I reshaved my head on Monday and I didn't have time / couldn't be bothered re-dyeing it. So I am just showing off the lovely silver speckles that my hair has now graced me with. As I said when I first shaved my hair, I don't feel that women should have to dye their hair. If they want to, go for their lives. I obviously like to as well usually. And I've seen lots of previews for the Marvel film that's coming up, Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. And later in the film he gets, the very distinctive Doctor Strange grey across the temples. So I'm just channeling that. Let's go with that. You can see there's little speckles of purple still that are obviously just hanging on for dear life. Anyway, I'm sure I will go back to purple or red at some point, but for now, embrace the greys, I say, regardless of what gender or not you identify with. I have a finished object. These are some fingerless gloves that I don't think have even been on the podcast when they were being made because I started them right before I went to Bendigo, which was about the second week of July that I started them. Now they're modelled on the pattern the Wizard Warmers because fingerless gloves, and this part can fold down so that you can have your fingers a bit more free for, getting on the bus or if you need to send a text message or whatever, but then they can go right up for warmth. So I really wanted to get these finished before going to Bendigo because I was expecting the freezing temperatures. But as if you saw episode 49 would know, it wasn't as cold as we expected. So I think I wore them maybe 1 or 2 mornings, but then they were put away. So that is more than fine. And I think they'll be really good for when I go back to doing my bus commutes for work here. At the moment, I'm using YarnderMum's car as we prepare it for sale because she's not using it now. So I haven't actually had a lot of use out of them yet, which is fine, but also lovely that I have them. So you can see, I've got my Fitbit on. I've gotten back into getting my 10,000 steps a day. So that's what this bulge is here. But what I'm showing you is you can have it over the wrist over the sleeve or under. And I made them quite wide to allow that bit of extra give and space because as well, if your thumb gets really cold, you could pull it in and perhaps twist them round so that was in the middle, so you're just totally covered. And they're very good. Very quick and easy, as I said, based on the pattern the Wizard Warmers, but I just sort of based the long top part on them. The rest I sort of just made up. I did a 2x2 rib and then just plain stockinette. For this part with the thumb, It's a free pattern, so not giving anything away, but you stop going in the round and just go back and forth. And it was quite interesting. It's sort of blocked out, but when I was knitting it, I could really see that my purl rows were so much looser than my knit. So that's quite interesting, as most people, it is for most people. Maybe not the yarn harlot, I'm sure she's got things under control. But after you do the thumb, then you go back to in the round, a few more plain stockinets here, and then the longer rib. So very simple, very effective. The yarn I used is the Cyborg's Craft Room in the worsted weight base, and I think the colourway is called Passion, and it's a beautiful tonal red. You can sort of see very subtle tonal differences in the red there, which is just beautiful because, you know, they're just a plain colour with no patterning, but beautiful variegation. So very happy with those. The teen has seen them and wants some, though she wants one with a little thumb, which I've never done before, so that will be a good challenge going forward at some point. So this work in progress is 3 rows and a bind off from being a finished object, so I'll have this to show you next week. This is the Talisman Shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and this is the first pattern that is part of the collection, the Shawl Society, that I was lucky enough to win on the Little Bobbins podcast. Thank you, Danny and Helen, for the contest. And as I said, I am nearly finished, so it's quite big. I did the large lace size, so it's squished up. It's not going to be able to be stretched out, but I am loving it. Doesn't that look awesome? Now, yes, yellow is a little bit unusual for me. Black and purple, not so much. But this is the Batgirl colourway from Gnome Acres, and I love it. It's, I think the shade of yellow that's come out, I just think is so fun, and I think I've always thought purple and yellow look good together, probably because of Batgirl. So loving, loving, loving. I love how it's pulled. I think it's just great fun, and I'm really enjoying working with the lace weight now. It's much slower, but I'm enjoying the product that's created because I think this is going to be really lovely to have when the weather gets warmer, so maybe a spring or a summer evening. Yeah, really happy, and so I'm thinking I might need to get some more lace weight, but you know, not supposed to be buying yarn and all that. But anyway, we'll work that out. So as I said, it's Batgirl. It's the Dainty Silky Gnome, so it's 80/20 merino silk. And I've got quite a bit left, and you can see there's quite a nice fuzz on the outside because it's been rubbing in the project bag. Now the reason I particularly mention I have so much left is the pattern, without giving it away because it is paid, said I would need pretty much as I have here. So I'm a bit confused what's happened, and I'm wondering, have I missed a whole section? But when I, you know, sort of count, I don't think I have. So I'm not sure what's happened because I'm actually using a bigger needle than is prescribed. And obviously, I don't know what my gauge is, I didn't check it. But this seems like a lot left over. So I don't know, never mind, you know, I'm very happy with how the shawl is. It's not like it's too small or anything like that. I just wonder what I have done because I doubt it's anything to do with the pattern. In fact, I'm sure it's not. It's me in some capacity, but never mind. So the Talisman Shawl has this really lovely stitch pattern every so often. And on this variegated yarn, it's a little bit hard to see it, but that's fine with me because I think when it's blocked, it will open out. You can sort of see, or not, maybe. There's the pattern leaves tiny little, they're not yarn overs, but you know, a little bit of a gap from where the stitches are pulled in. So I think that will help accentuate it. And look, even if it doesn't, it was just fun to knit, and I think on close examination you can see it. And so either way is fine. But I would like to knit this pattern again in perhaps a less loud colour. Even though the pattern says go for your life, you know, variegated is fine. So it's not like I went completely off task. And even if I did, that would be fine. But yes, I know it would look equally as beautiful, but in a different way, in a different coloured yarn. So I think that will be in the future with all this lace weight that I don't own that I'm not going to buy because I'm trying not to buy more stash. But anyway, we'll work that out. You know, specifics, details. The bag it's been living in is from Little Skein and the Big Wool. It's my Totoro bag. So Totoro being a movie and a character by Studio Ghibli, the Japanese animation company. If you have not seen Totoro, or it's called My Neighbor Totoro in the Japanese title, and then it's just Totoro in English, please seek it out. It is so cute, such a lovely story. You will not regret it. So if you're not aware, this grey guy here is Totoro. This is the cat bus, Nekobasu. So yes. And these are the soot balls. I just love it. So cute. So yes, Little Skein in the Big Wool. And even though that's quite a sizable shawl to go in a smaller bag, the reason I did that is because I wanted a smaller bag to sort of crumple up, because this is the project I took with me to Bendigo. I didn't get a lot of knitting done while I was there, but I certainly did some. And it was good to have a smaller contained bag to be able to put it in my handbag and get it going when I needed to. So yes, this will be ready for you next time, because I'm going to have a blocking party on the weekend, because the next couple of shawls I have to show you should have been FOs for you today. So this little sneak peek, I'll show you more in a minute. This is my Random Act of Colour shawl by the lovely Amy Meeks and Debbie Reese, who are the Periscoping Sisters, the podcast of that name. And this is a project I started either on my birthday or very soon after, because the lovely Nina Ine of This Old Knit podcast very kindly sent me the pattern, and it was such a fun knit. Now, I haven't got the tags with me for the yarn, because I had a bit of a tidy up. In last episode, I was telling you that I had all my new yarn acquisitions sitting up waiting to be podcasted, and the clutter was getting to me. So as soon as I podcasted, I put it all away. So I forgot to get the tags out again. So apologies, that was quite a random story about my tidying habits, or lack thereof. So long story long, the yarns that I have used are mostly Park in the Noble colourway, Little Dipper yarns in the Diva colourway, and Half-Baked hand-dyed yarns in the Grey Mountain colourway. So those are the three. So all three Australian companies, all three from my Bendigo trip. So let me see. Now, the reason, as I said, this wasn't finished, as the Knitmore girls would say, to purloin their phrase. I finished the knitting, but I haven't woven in the ends, haven't blocked, haven't taken any photos. So hence you will see it in better glory next week in the FO section. But here we go. It's stunning, even though it's not properly blocked. It is just gorgeous. I love this pattern. I highly recommend it. Random Act of Colour. It's just wonderful. And such a lovely story, because Amy and Debbie designed patterns in honour and memory of their sister Wendy, who sadly passed. And Wendy used to like to have random acts of colour in her wardrobe or her life. So the idea, you can obviously pick any colours you like, but you pick sort of two similar colours and then one pop. So I chose my purple as my pop colour because it is quite a different sort of tone, but I just think they all look beautiful together. Lovely pattern. The little eyelet section is very easy, or simple, I should say. You know, easy is relative, but it's very simple. So because you repeat it so often, I found it quite easy to get the hang of. I was lucky enough to not have any design features. I didn't muck up the easy, simple eyelet placement. The one place I had a little boo-boo, which was just totally me. You'll see on the back here, I've got some yarn because I noticed when I was on about this row that I had one less stitch at the end, so it wasn't an eyelet row, it was just a plain stockinette, so that doesn't matter, I just added one in. But then as I kept going, I realised I had dropped a stitch here and there were 2 stitches gone. So you can see it didn't, my sewing didn't quite grab them, but I'm hoping with blocking that will sort itself out, and I might just tweak it again. What I did was pick them up over each other and then just tied them at the back with some extra yarn. But look, yeah, if that remains as it is and doesn't change in blocking, I'm still fine with that, because I don't think it's that noticeable. I mean, it is noticeable in that, you know, if you look at it, you can see it's different, but I don't think it makes much of a difference at all. And I'm happy with it. So yes, I'm really looking forward to having this ready to wear. Sorry, dropping it. I'm trying to show you how ginormous it is. So yes, very much looking forward to having this to wear. I think it's going to be a lovely piece, and more on it next time. And now the next shawl that should be a finished object today, but is not, because it just needs a bind off. This is the Riley Rose shawl by Jennifer Lassonde, aka Boston Jen of the Down Cellar Studio. And I love it. I love the pattern. I love my colour choices. Have a look. Isn't it gorgeous? So lovely. Oh, it would quite go with my outfit today. What a shame. Never mind. I can wear it soon. So this pattern was another lovely birthday gift. This one was from Becky, Westerly Whimsies of the Wrapped in Wool podcast, who Becky is an expat Australian who's living in America now. Now, so squishy. It really is. So the Riley Rose pattern is one of the more, or is the most recent pattern from Boston Jen. And as you can see, it goes through your 3 colours, but also various stitch patterns and designs. And that makes it such a fun knit, because you're never doing the same thing more than a little while. And you also knit it tip to tip rather than, so, you know, pointy end to pointy end. Isn't this descriptive pose? I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. As opposed to with the triangle shawl, you'll usually knit and go out. Hopefully that made sense. If not, message me if you don't get what I'm talking about. But my point being, it's a bit hard to show you unblocked, but this is the tip of the triangle here. And so it's only in that charcoal section that you have the most stitches. So you never have that many stitches on the needles at once. So very, I guess, quick. You know, it obviously takes as long as it takes, but it feels quicker because your longest rows are not that long. So very handy. Now, the yarns that I am using, I have Milady, which is the lovely red, and Nevermore, and both from Wool and Vine Yarns. So this is Milady, and these are both on the Lush base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So that's Nevermore, which is an Edgar Allan Poe reference from his poem The Raven. And I did originally start with a third Wool and Vine yarn, which, to continue the theme, is Poe, this beautiful tonal grey. But I didn't end up using that, as you can see. This is still quite full, because, let me show you, at the first time you introduce your third colour is in this striped section. Now, you can see these stripes are very distinct, but if you look here, it's a bit hard to tell, which is why I swapped. These stripes, particularly in places like here, are not distinct at all. So because the charcoal, the Nevermore, and the Poe are both very tonal, as you can see if I hold them up together. So, you know, in the cakes they look very distinct, but because they're both so beautifully tonal, there are parts in the Nevermore that are quite light, and there are parts in the Poe that are a bit darker, and the darker and the lighter on these don't have a lot of distinction. So I didn't end up pulling out that row because I thought it's the first one and it just sort of gives a nice, gradation into the toning. So what I did was I left it in and I started with, it's still attached because I haven't wound off, and that's all I've got left. It's just a Knit Pick Stroll Fingering in the Dove Heather colourway. So it's still a nice heathered colour, but it's a lighter grey and without as much tonality to it, so it's much more distinctive. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it still gives a tone to it in the greys, but much lighter and much easier to see. And here's a good example of the difference in tone in the two. So you can see here on this edge stitch, these two stitches are quite light. That's actually still part of the charcoal, the Nevermore, so you can see that light tone part coming through here. So that's actually lighter than some of the Poe is showing up. So you can see the colours, the tonality is just too together to have the distinction, and that's what makes them so beautiful, and I love them, but it just wasn't right for this pattern. So loving, 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 and I cannot wait to wear this. It's really squishy because the Woolen Vine is got the cashmere in it. It's obviously really nice, and the merino that's in Woolen Vine is really soft anyway. If you've ever knit with the Knit Pick Stroll or Felici, that's a very soft yarn as well, so it really works together. Even though the Stroll doesn't have cashmere, it really works in that same type of feel to it. And yeah, really recommend this pattern as well. That's the Riley Rose. And it will definitely be ready to show you next time because, as I said, I'm having that blocking party this weekend. I'm going to do it. Now, I'll show you the bag that this has been living in. This is one of my favourites from Bird Leg Bags. Long-time friend of the show. I have a lot of Bird Leg bags. And this one is particularly cute. They're little dust bunnies. And there's a little Japanese bunny on here. Sorry, I'll flip her around. There we go. So yes, very, very fun. We'll be showing you that later. And while I see it, I was using this progress marker, which is a cute little teapot. And that was from Familiar Notions, which was very kindly sent to me as a gift. And we also have some to give away, which will be a future giveaway prize. So what I was doing, because I was knitting this a lot while I was sick with the flu that I mentioned last time, so I would use the progress marker to see how much I knit every day, just because. Now, speaking of Bird Leg bags, we were very, very lucky to be given 2 gift vouchers for the Bird Leg Bags shop, which is birdlegbags.com. So let's go now and see who won those. So the contest we were running with the Bird Leg Bags gift vouchers was to celebrate our 2-year podiversary / 50 episodes of the YarnderWoman podcast. So thank you again to everyone who has been part of the YarnderWoman community and just the knitting community in general. Now, on to the winners. I won't hold you in suspense much longer. We had 85 entries, so I used random.org to draw between posts number 2 to 86, because post number 1 was mine announcing the contest. So 85 entries, 86 posts because 1 was mine. So random.org, like to hang in the same sort of area. So the first winner is number 71, who is Michelle PEI, who is from Charlottetown. Congratulations, Michelle. Or rather, I'm assuming your name is Michelle because you didn't have your real name in your description on Ravelry, but I assume Michelle PEI means your name is Michelle. So please get in touch with me. Our second winner was number 76. As I said, random.org hung around the 70s. And that winner was Al-Marie Craft from Portland in Oregon. So well done, Al-Marie Craft. Yay! Also didn't have your real name, so just going with your Ravelry names, I assume, ladies. Because I'm going to guess Al-Marie Craft is Marie. Apologies if that's not correct. But If Michelle PEI and Almarie Craft can please get in touch with me on Ravelry via personal message, I will then put you in touch with your choice for your voucher from birdlegbags.com. So the prize was a $30 US voucher each, one for each person, to go towards your purchase on Birdleg Bags. So congratulations and thank you everyone for entering. It was a very fun contest. I loved reading everyone's answers because the prompt was saying your favourite moment or anything you'd like to see on the podcast. And it was lovely. So thank you everyone. Now, we're not finished on prizes yet because I am redrawing the prize from the 1,500 member Ravelry giveaway because I never heard from the person who was drawn, and that was quite a while ago. Usually I have a 4-week stipulation on getting in touch with me to say that you've seen it. I know that it's easy to get behind with podcasts, but as in this example, I would really like the winners to be someone who's watching regularly, active part of the community, because, especially for a membership giveaway, I think that makes sense. So I think you understand, I hope so. But without further ado, the redraw of the 1,500 member giveaway, and the prize for which is the winner's choice of a design pattern from Floofy Moose on Ravelry, which is great. There are some lovely ones to choose from. So the redraw was number 42, Dust Boots, Cheryl from Wisconsin. Congratulations, Cheryl. Get in touch with me by personal message and I will put you in touch with Floofy Moose. Now, speaking of generous donations, as we had from Birdleg Bags and Floofy Moose, we also have a very cool discount code that is now valid from today, the 19th of August, until the 31st of August. And that is from Quilter Caroline, also a long-time friend of the show, who's given us lots of coupons before and prize donations. So this one is for her new shawl, which is Grandmother's Flower Garden. And this is part of her, I believe it's going to be a 3-shawl collection. And the first one was another one we had a code for, and that was a veggie garden. And that was inspired by her grandfather's veggie garden. So this one, it's now her grandmother's flower garden. And I think I'm going to be taking advantage of this code because it's a beautiful shawl. There are different stitch patterns that are to symbolize and indicate the different flowers and rows. It's really lovely. So if you would like to take advantage of her generous offer, the code is GRANDMA, GRANDMA, all capitals. And as always, this will be in the show notes at www.yarnderwoman.blogspot.com.au. So go and have a look. I'll have the link in the show notes, take you straight to the pattern as well as that discount code GRANDMA. Thank you very much, Caroline, and everyone have a look and see what you like. Okay, acquisitions. I'm so spoiled, and I spoiled myself as well. But many people spoiled me, which is just lovely. First off, I was so kindly given the ebook collection that is called Sight is Life, and that was given to me by Linda, who is Ginging, who is an Australian but not in Perth. So we are yet to meet in real life, but we have corresponded many times before. And Sight is Life is an ebook where the patterns are donated by some very famous designers like Brunettes, Joji Locatelli, but all the money for the purchase goes towards, as the name suggests, Sight is Life, a charity working in Africa to restore people's sight, which, how amazing is that? So thank you very much, Linda, and thank you again because Linda has also generously said she will buy another ebook to donate as a prize. So I'm just working out what contest that will be for, but hold that thought and I'll let you know as soon as it's decided and you can see if you can win. I was also very kindly given another pattern, and that's the Bijou Canoe sock pattern, and that was from Michelle, Homesteader Girl, and she is the designer. And these are very cute little socks, and they are in the shape of a little canoe. So they're sort of footy socks. Not footy, that for Australians, that'll sound like I'm saying footy, short for football. That's not what I mean. Foot, i.e. footy. So they pretty much just go around your foot. So for wearing slip-on shoes or just for around the house. So they're very cute. And I believe the yarn she used was the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And as I showed in episode 50, I got a skein of that when I was in Melbourne. So that might be coming up soon. Now, continuing the I am spoiled theme. The lovely Melissa, who is Spicy Homemaker of the podcast of the same name, she organised another podcaster swap. I say another because you may remember I participated in the Valentine's Day swap earlier in the year. So this was a Christmas in July. I believe Vicky DeVixter of the Sweet Leaps podcast was also assisting her, but it was Melissa that contacted me with my swap partner details. So this is a swap between podcasters, and it's usually, there's one specification of things you have to send and then anything else is on top of that. I was partnered with the lovely Jodie, Mrs. Brown's Bags, who is one half of the Fabulous Grocery Girls podcast, and Jodie went to town and spoiled me completely. Being a Christmas in July package, the one specification of things we had to send was a knitted Christmas ornament. And look how cute this is. It's got the yarn at the back, the same colour as the scarf. So cute. Now, Jodie really took note of my love of red, and as you'll see, there's a lot of lovely red. So first off, when the box arrived, it came just after I got back from Bendigo. So the whole box on the outside was wrapped in this lovely Christmas paper. So that was very exciting from the get-go, it's this giant box for Christmas. So I had my very cute little Christmas guy. And then the beauty just continued. Now, I've taken everything out of the plastic, but I must just show you. Everything was wrapped with these beautiful red ribbons. I have a beautiful card from Jodie with her signature knit fabric that she uses on her bags. So knit fabric that's then scanned and in this case printed onto the card. She sent me some other Christmas decorations. How cute is this? It's got its own little coat hanger, little teeny sweater. This beautiful ball. And I love how it's all, Northern Hemisphere winter sort of things with the snow and the woolly jumper and the reindeer, because of course it's summer in Australia when it's Christmas time. So this is really special to have things that are, the type of Christmas that is shown in pictures and things like that the Northern Hemisphere have. These beautiful cards, you mean the world to me, with world globes on them. And then some extra specials. I mentioned the, signature knit print that Mrs. Brown's bags have on them. Not all of them, but on a lot of them. Now, Mrs. Brown's bags are very difficult to get. I've never been able to get one in an update on Etsy or on the online store. But guess what? Jodie sent me one. How cool is that? She said in her card that it was very appropriate because the colourway that this yarn is called Sleigh Bells, so it fits with our Christmas theme. And because it had red, she said she knew it had to be mine. I was so excited. When I was opening this package, I just kept going, squealing away. Beautiful icy blue to keep with the theme inside. So exciting. There's her label. I'll poke myself in the eye there. Mrs. Brown's bags. And then it just kept going. It was amazing. On the Grocery Girls, Jodie and Tracy often speak about Adam and Eve yarn, which is local to them, the dyer. And this one, it doesn't have the colourway name on it, but it says dyed by handmaiden for River City Yarns. And I know River City Yarns is the local yarn store for Jodie, and it's beautiful. Oh, those reds going into purple. I cannot wait to knit this. This is merino cashmere nylon with the percentages there, and then 100% temptation. Oh yes, it definitely is. I can't wait to knit this. I haven't decided yet. Definitely a shawl or something that I can have visible and, around my face. And then there was another, Jodie just went to town. As I said, we were supposed to, the stipulation was a little knitted decoration and a card. Beautiful. Hedgehog fibres. I've never seen hedgehog fibres in real life. I see it on podcasts and Instagram. This is my first hedgehog fibres. I'm very excited. It's skinny singles base. And I was mentioning to you last week that I'm really loving singles yarn, so I'm so excited. And this colourway is Sari, which I think is the perfect name for it. And those reds and the pinks and orange yellows, perfect description. There's even flecks of purpley blue and first hedgehog. I was so excited. So thank you so much, Jody. You completely spoiled me. And I spoiled myself further in Bendigo, and I'm going to show you now. So last week I mentioned that I went to the Bendigo Woolen Mills, and if you watched episode 49, you'll see some footage there. So that's a woolen mill that still operates in the town of Bendigo, and they have a store and a back room where some of the, they're not all offcuts, but you know, there's some of the cheaper things or discounted or cleared out items. So you've got your front and your back. They were running a special over the weekend where if you filled a shopping basket, you could have your yarn posted to you for free. I believe their online site also does free shipping for over a certain amount, perhaps $50, I'm not sure. So I thought when I went in, I'm probably not going to need that facility because I'm just not, you know, I'm not going to get too much. I'll show you the bag that I ended up sending home. Now, the disclaimer here, not that I need one, but as I'll show you, the balls are really big. So, you know, they take up a lot of room. Plus, the prices are really reasonable because you're getting factory direct prices because you're right there. So I ended up stocking up. So, because I've got this one out, I'll show you. These are ones that Mum, YarnderWoman, chose, and she's actually going to have a go at knitting these herself. I'll insert a photo here that some of you may have seen on Instagram, where YarnderWoman chose a very amusing pose when she wanted to show these on Instagram. So, they're looking a little bit darker there. They're sort of a bit lighter, but pretty similar. So this yarn is the mystery colourway. Oh no, mystery base I think it must be. It's 100% wool. So I don't think Mum's decided what she wants to knit yet. Probably just a scarf to start with. Perhaps straight garter stitch. We shall see, but it's going to be beautiful because this was knit up and Mum was really taken by it because it's sort of got the various barber poling but works its way through pinky purples, which very much YarnderWoman's colours. And continuing on from wanting to get some different bases than the standard merino and that sort of thing, I was excited to see this one. It's 80% bamboo and 20% wool. So I got a red pack and 2 blacks, and I thought this would be, with the bamboo content, this would be good to make some lighter weight garments because I really would like to get into some garment knitting. I'm not sure what pattern yet, but I think this is going to be really lovely for some spring/summer wear. We'll see. I get very hot, so I'm wondering even with the 20% wool if it will be too hot, but I hope not. And I love the sheen on the bamboo. So looking forward to that. And also looking forward to this one. This is also bamboo, but this is 50-50 wool bamboo. So it's the Stella range. And I got maybe 3 grey and a couple of this reddy colour. Again, for some garments in some lighter weight. Obviously this one has more wool, but yeah, I think these will make some good garments that are not going to be too overly hot for me. I think, what else did I get? This one. This is from the Milky Way range. I got the Jupiter colourway, the purple. And it says here, 84% wool and 16% milk fibre. So, hence Milky Way, ha ha ha, and they all had planet names. I would have liked to have gotten Mars and red, but it wasn't quite a shade that I was attracted to, so this very pretty Jupiter. I just got the one of this because I just thought I wanted to try it. I thought that was really interesting having milk fibre, so I'll let you know about that. And then I got, oh, that one's lost its tag. Where are we? I got this one, which is 100% wool, and it's the Cinder Fleck colourway. So it's black, and it's got these tweedy natural colours, browns and creams. Now, when I saw these, I'm just looking, I think I got 4. So these are 200 gram balls, these. So they're quite large, as I said. And that's a DK weight. I'm pretty sure they're all DK weight, actually. I'm not sure about this one. Oh, yes, no, they're also, in Australia, it's usually noted as 8 ply being DK, even though there's not actually 8 plies in it. That's just the naming convention that's used. So when I saw this, back to this, I showed YarnderWoman and I said, oh, these are your colours, you should get, we could get you some. And she said, not really my colours, it's more your colour. And then I realised what I was thinking of. When I was a teenager, I remember Mum had some clothes, left over from her youth. And I'm going to guess from the 70s, she had a jumper that was this kind of colour. It was black with browny flecks in it. And I think that's why when I saw it, my mind went to, oh, that's Mum's colours. Even though I never saw her wear this jumper, it was just, ones that she'd kept. Maybe I wore it for a while, but probably in the 90s when I was a teenager, it probably wasn't something I gravitated towards. Which is weird because I was quite into, just as an aside, in the 90s, a lot of sort of hippie wear, Indian flowy skirts, all that sort of thing was very in fashion. That was very much my style. I had the flowy skirts, I had, the bell-bottom jeans. Yeah, that was very much my look. So it's a shame I don't still have this jumper. I'm sure it's probably nothing to what I'm actually picturing it to be, because in my mind it's the most perfect thing that I would love to have. Don't have any more, so I'm going to make my own. So I'm not sure what pattern I will make. Probably an Andy Sutherland pattern. If you watch Inside number 23, I'm sure you do, with lovely Katie, she's knitting an Andy Sutherland pattern now, the Chuck sweater. I don't think I'll make something that cabled, but something like that. The Andy's patterns are really lovely, sort of vintage inspired and that kind of shape, because I'm quite short. Funnily enough, a lot of people noted at the podcaster meetup at Bendigo, they said, oh, you look much taller on the screen. A lot of people think I'm going to be taller. So I'm quite short. I'm quite curvy. I've got a very small, as in short waist. So the distance between, say, my hip bones and my rib bones is quite small. So things that are more fitted and shorter, like a bolero, a shorter size jumper, sweater, really suit my figure more, suit my style as well. So this is going to be some kind of vintage inspired jumper at some point. But yes, I'm very happy with these purchases. I love buying indie dyed yarns and things with a lot more tonality. So because these are factory dyed, the colour's going to be a lot more solid, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's nothing wrong with factory dyed yarns, and knit what you like. But my point being, it's going to be a bit different from what I tend to gravitate towards, because that's what's in my stash, is the indie dyed. So I'm quite looking forward to having a bit of a different experience, and something from a mill that, it's all made in Australia, as you can see on the label. All made in Australia, beautiful colours, beautiful texture, like this one, the 50-50 merino wool bamboo. Yeah, really lovely. So can't wait to start on that. I can't wait to start on garment knitting. I don't know when this is all going to happen, but soon. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go and make another coffee. I only got through half the first one, to be honest. I could just reheat the second half. And then head off to work. Very grateful for my job, don't get me wrong, but I would love to stay here and keep knitting. I don't know what I'm going to be able to show you next week for Works in Progress, because as I said, the 3 rows to go on my Talisman shawl, just to bind off on my Riley Rose. That's quite exciting. Not that I don't have a lot of works in progress that have sort of been hibernated, so we'll see. Actually, I might go back to the shawl I started as my Mother's Day cast on, which was part of the Prairie Girls Knit and Spin #Mother's Day cast on. Maybe. We shall see. Or I might just knit some more of my lovely yarn that I bought in Bendigo, or that I've been given. Anyway, those internal struggles will continue with me. I will let you know next time and I'll show you then. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely day and happy crafting. Bye.